Hey guys, so today I thought I would talk a little bit about how I became an artist with pictures, with great detail, and starting from the beginning. So as a kid, I was always really creative. I was always like either in the corner of my room reading, like reading a dictionary or like reading the Bible. Aside from that, I would be in the corner like drawing little pictures. And I love doing like crafty things and stuff like that. So like that was fun for me. But I always grew up like hearing from other people, hearing on like TV and stuff that you can't be an artist. That was being fed to me so much, even at school, like by teachers and stuff. Not even that I even like outwardly expressed wanting to be an artist ever, but that was always being like put into my mind. And yeah, so always hearing you can't be an artist, artists don't make money, all this kind of stuff. So I just never thought about being an artist ever. The thought literally just didn't cross my mind. But I still like to draw and whatever. I'll show you. I have like a binder. I kept it actually. I have like a binder of drawings from like fifth grade. Fifth grade and some from middle school. It's not a lot, but I used to have fun. But in second grade, actually, I did for my art class, we all had to do a self portrait. And I actually just happened upon it. I found it like in a box with a bunch of pictures at my house. So I'll insert a picture. I didn't think it was good, but like they were having an art show at school and they put it in the art show and then it won first place. And I was literally so confused the whole time because I was like, it's not that good. But all the teachers were coming to me and they're like, I didn't know that you could draw like that. Like, that's really good. Like, you did this yourself. And I was like, it was literally an assignment for class. Like, what? I was really thrown. Like, I didn't think it was good, but I guess for second grade, it was kind of good, especially for not having a lot of art class teaching experience. I don't know. But yeah, that was the first time I won something for art. Actually, the only time I won something for art, but it's okay. My time is coming again. So I moved schools in fifth grade. I took an art class there and I really liked it. But middle school is when we had to decide like, okay, you can either take art, you can take computers, you can take chorus, orchestra, or band. Like, those are your elective options. You can only do one. And I was like, well, I want to do art. And love my mom. She's my biggest supporter. But my mom at the time was like, no, you can't do art. Like, you're not taking art class. And I was like, why? She's like, because like all the bad kids take art. And I was like, well, dang, like I really want to do it. So I didn't take art class all of middle school. I took chorus and then eighth grade. That you got another elective option. And I was like, I could do this like an engineering class or I could take art. Like, can I do art? And my mom still said no. So that happened. So then I have it again ingrained in my head, like only the bad kids take art. So like I can't do that even come high school. Like that's just not gonna be an option. Even though like I needed an art credit to graduate, but we'll get to that. Fast forwarding through high school, I never took any art classes until my senior year. I needed an art credit and because I was really academic girly and I ended up being at the start of 12th grade, I was 11th in my class, and I only found that out because it was for some scholarship thing. They needed to know my ranking, so I would have never known, and I would have been better off. But because now I knew I was 11 and I wanted to be top 10 at that point, I was like, well, if I'm 11, I'm right there. I want to be top 10. So for my art credit, they were like, well, you can take this AP photography class, and, like just talk to the teacher. He might let you like skip the regular like photography class and jump to AP. So if I did the AP class, my GPA would have been a little bit higher because I would have gotten an A in it. That was just a given. No tea, no shade. So I did that. He let me take the AP photography class. But because my schedule, I had a half day because I was going to the community college in the afternoon for class. So I was leaving school at 10:50, so I had four classes, regular classes at school. So because of my schedule, I couldn't be in the actual AP photography class because that was in the afternoon. So I was taking photography with the art class. So like the regular, like they had art one, art two, and then AP art. So I was in the art two class taking my AP art or my AP photography. Mind you, I took no pictures and he just made up grades to me and gave me an A. It was crazy. But while sitting in that art class, like sometimes my friend in there, like she wouldn't feel like doing her painting project. And I would be like, well, can I do it? She'd be like, yeah. So I would just like paint her projects for her. And I had so much fun. And I was like, I wish I took art. Like, what the heck? So then my good friend at the time, she was in art. She was a year younger than me and at a different school, but she was taking art classes. There was one day like we decided to like paint a picture together and I painted a tree. I'll insert it here. I think that might have been the first time I had painted in like ever really, aside from like helping paint my friends' projects in class. This was my first like painting outside of like elementary school. And I was like, wow, this was actually so fun. And I love it so much. And it turned out way better than I thought, even though it was really a simple, basic little tree. But I loved it. So then, considering I was also super stressed out about graduating, I always had this set plan for my life. Like, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to do pre med in college. I'm going to go to this specific school. And that's what it's going to be. I had this plan since I was like 10. So I always knew what I wanted to do. But then once it got to that point where I'm like applying for colleges and picking like a major and stuff, I realized I actually have no idea. And do I really want to do any of that? Like, do I want to be a doctor? Like, can I? Yes, I believe in myself wholeheartedly and everything. But do I want to do that? So then I started painting. After that day with my friend, I started painting for fun just to like relieve stress. So I would go on Pinterest and be like easy landscape paintings or easy painting ideas. And I would find one and I would paint it. And it was a blissful time using my 50-cent paints from Walmart. So yeah, good times. I graduate high school. Still had no idea what I'm doing, but like I know what school I'm going to, but I don't even want to go there for real. But I'm not going to get into why I ended up going there because it wasn't for the right reasons. But I went there my third day. My major is biology, mind you, because my plan again, major in biology, pre med track. I'm going to go to med school. I'm going to be a doctor. So I get there. It's my third day or my second day. And I had chemistry. First thing in the morning, I go to the class and I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, sitting in there was confirmation. Like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And I was like, I can't imagine being happy doing this at all. It would be miserable for me. So I left the class after like 10 minutes. Then I went to my dorm, cried the whole way there, dropped all of my classes. Then 5 minutes, I was in the honors college. So, like, the advisors be checking up on you. So I get to my dorm, drop all my classes. Within 5 minutes, my advisor calls me and was like, hey, I noticed you dropped all your classes. Like, you're going to have to like add something else. Do you want to come in and chat? And I was like, fine. So like an hour later, I think, I go there to talk to her. I was like, I just don't know what I want to do now. Like, I don't want to do this major, but I don't know what my other options are. Like, I don't know what classes I should do. So she helped me figure out like I'll be undecided for this year and then helped me figure out like what classes I should take that'll be like my gen ed, but would still put me on like on track to be okay with any other major pretty much, if that makes sense. I don't know. So I still had my math, my art credit, my English credit, all that stuff. And then like gave me classes where it's like if I end up deciding I still want to do biology, like I'm on track for that. So shout out to her, loved her. She's the only advisor who really did her job. So anywho, hated college, had a terrible time. Was the worst experience of my life. not to discourage anyone, but that was me. And it just, the school wasn't for me. And I had some really tough experiences there. So I just didn't like it. And I was like, I could just drop out. But then I was like, no, I can't do this for 4 years. So I'll just try to do it in 3. So I was figuring out a plan to how I could graduate in 3 years. So I did that. I ended up transferring schools, but I still, with the additional credits I ended up having to take while transferring, I still was able to graduate in 3 years. So that was cool. Slay. But throughout all of this time, I was kind of painting a little bit at home, but not like a whole lot. But when the stress was super high, I was doing a lot of painting, especially my last year of college. I think maybe like 2018, 2019, my sisters were like, you should post these on Instagram. And I was like, no, the heck? Why would I do that? But then eventually I did. My handle was Rochelle Paints. If anybody remembers that, you're iconic. I started posting on there, and 2018, I got an email. Mind you, I never saw this email, but I got an email from an organization that was putting on an art show in Baltimore called Raw Artists. And they were like, hey, we saw your art on Instagram. Like, we were wondering if you wanted to showcase at the show. I didn't see the email for like 4 months. So it was the day before the art show that I saw the email. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm just seeing this. Like, I don't know if it's too late, but I would at least love to attend. So they sent me tickets, and they were really nice about it. Then the next year, when they were doing it again, they reached out to me again and asked if I wanted to do it. So that was my first art show. And I don't remember what year, so I'm going to insert it right here when I figure it out. But that was my first art show. All my family was there. I sold my first painting aside from like a commission, because I had done a couple commissions, I think. Nothing that was good. But to people at church, shout out to them for supporting me in the time where I was a horrible artist. I sold my first painting, and it was an amazing experience. Then I went and did that show again, I think later that year. So, like December of that year. Okay, this was 2019. Yeah, I did another show later that year at the same place. I was a little bit more prepared. I had like bookmarks, I think. I had more prints. It was the first time I showed my first oil painting and my first portrait painting, because up until this point, I was like, I'm never doing a portrait and I'm never doing an oil painting. It's too hard and I don't want to do it. Like, it's just not happening. Finally, like a month or so before this show, I was like, I'll try a Bob Ross painting, because a lot of people were doing that at the time. They were trying, like on YouTube, we're doing a Bob Ross painting following along. So I did that, and it was a horrible experience. I had a terrible time, and it was really hard, and I was really unhappy with it. And I thought it was terrible. I didn't know how to use oil paint. It was really confusing, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. Same with the portrait. It came out really ugly. Like, I don't want to show you what it looked like, but to do this video justice, I think I will. But it was really bad. But I ended up showing, actually, yeah, it was my second portrait, I think, because it was like half of a face. Child, I don't know, but I'll show you. After that, early 2020, I tried oil painting and portrait painting again, and I did a painting of Georgia Smith. And I think it's really, I still have it. Let me get it. Here she is. I can't bring myself to get rid of it because I just really like it, but I painted Georgia Smith. Then I did one of Zendaya, and then I did one of Rihanna. And I think this is the biggest one I did at the time. It's like really messed up. The plastic's not covering all of it, so it's like got a bunch of scuff marks, but I keep her because I love her. It's like my firstborn. But I did that, and it ended up really good. So I was like, okay, word. Like, I can do this. So yeah, I graduated college May 2020, started grad school in August of 2020. And through my time in grad school, I'd only painted like 2 paintings because I was working so much. I had an assistantship, so it was paying for my tuition. It was a job with the art gallery that they had on campus. So I was doing that, and I had class all the time. I had 1,000 papers to do. So like I didn't have time to paint really, and I was just too tired to paint. So I only did like 2 paintings and they were during my breaks. Come the end of the term for my job, the job was for 3 quarters out of the 5 of the program. So after those 3 quarters, I would have had to figure out how to pay for college. And I was like, I already have loans. I don't want to take more out. Like, what do I do? So I took a leave of absence, got a new job, hated the job, realized like anytime I have a job, aside from the gallery one, that was like fine. But every time I've had a job, it's been the worst experience of my life, like the most depressed I've ever been, all that stuff. So it was like, I really just don't want to work for anybody. My mom and I had a long chat about what to do. And that's when I decided it's time to take the art really seriously and like get into it. So at this point, it's fall of 2021. All 2021 through the winter, most of the winter, I'm like preparing to figure out like, okay, here's like what I want to do. Here's my plan. Here's some paintings that I want to do. How I'm gonna get prints. I'm gonna make stickers. I want to make these socks, like all kinds of stuff. I had a lot of ideas, and then I was going to kind of launch everything right before an art show, and then have everything at this art show. So the first time in a couple of years, I did an art show again at Black Girl Art Show in DC, and this was February of 2022. And that's also when I launched my new website. It's also when I changed my Instagram name to La Roche Art from Rochelle Paints. So La Roche Art was born February 4th of 2022. I went to this art show. I was more prepared than I had been at any other one, but still I didn't have much. But I learned a lot after that. So everything was fine. I did more vendor markets and art shows and things. I was posting a lot on social media. Things were crazy. I think it was 2023. March of 2023 is when I did my first like gallery exhibition, which the timing feels crazy. And I don't, it's like, am I right? Is that right? Because it seems really fast. Whatever. I did my first gallery show and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I love the experience of like having my artwork in a gallery and having all these people who appreciate art come to view it and they're here for the art. Like, it was a beautiful time. And I did a few of those over the years. And it's hard to get into that. I'm still figuring out how to really be in that space, but I love it so much. And it's my favorite thing. So, working on staying in galleries more. Um, but yeah, that's how I became an artist. It was a really long story, but anywho, since becoming an artist, I've done a lot of cool things that I would have never done. I had a collab with Comcast. I did a collab with Blick recently. I remember the day I first even heard of Blick. My brother-in-law got me a gift card to Blick to buy some art supplies. We giggled about the name for a little bit. And then that I bought some stuff. That was crazy that that happened, and I can remember that day specifically, like really vividly, to then having a collab with them. I met Chance the Rapper in Miami and gave him a painting, and he loved it. I did a painting of Flo Millie, and she saw it on Twitter and reposted it and said it was amazing. I don't know, I did a lot of cool things. And even though it's really hard being an artist and like literally every single day is tough being an artist and an entrepreneur, but I was thinking about it recently, like what if I just quit? And if I did, that would be the worst thing ever. Like, I don't know what would become of me if I stopped being an artist. And I guess that's how I know it's what I'm meant to be doing, because I can't imagine my life without it. I shouldn't live my life without it. And like whenever I think I feel like quitting, I just think about like my mom, because when I was growing up, anytime I was doing like a sport or something and I wanted to quit, or like a club and I wanted to quit, she would be like, no, I didn't raise any quitters. Like, you have to see it through to the end. So I would have to wait till the end of the year or the end of the season to then decide not to do it anymore. But I couldn't quit in the middle of anything. Like, she would not let me. And so I think about that a lot. and how that's helped me so much through this, because that's what keeps me going aside from like trusting God and everything. I think about that and how like I'm not a quitter. I never will be. So I'm not going to quit now. Like I'm not going to start that now. And yeah, it's been a wild journey being an artist, and we'll see what happens in the next however many years. So it's been a really long video. So I'm going to stop talking now. Love ya.